But all of a sudden in May, it's like it has this breezy feel to it, and everybody's changing their attitude, and it's like, yeah, okay, let's just transition, let's do this. And here you receive the Death card, but the best thing about it is the clarification card is the Wheel of Fortune. The fates of fortune are on your side. And you have to take advantage of this auspicious time, because the window of opportunity will eventually close as the cycle of the wheel goes down. And up above in your sacrum, or pelvic, for awakening and arousing, you receive the Hierophant and the Queen of Cups. I'm going to discuss them together because they're very relevant. And since this is in the spiritual awakening category, the Hierophant is saying that, yeah, you're doing some soul searching. You're doing some spiritual searching. You're also searching for some truths. The word Hierophant is Latin for to show or make known. You want something exposed. You want to understand some cosmic concepts. You want to enhance some connection to the divine and bring it down to the earthly realm. That's why there's the presence of the Queen of Cups. She's earth. She's indicating earthly love. This brings in the idea of agape, which means love in Greek, but in modern days it's more like brotherly love. It doesn't have a sexual connotation to it. And here you've got a cosmic Hierophant connected to the earthly Queen of Cups for love and emotions. It's like you're seeking a higher self, somebody that's going to be doing things without desire. Or maybe said best, giving unselfish love. And this seems to be the quest of your spiritual self. And this seems to be the quest of your spiritual awakening. Now up above, in your solar plexus for sensing and feeling, you receive the Sun card twice. This indicating that there's a new day dawning. It's offering clarity, understanding, and fulfillment. Suddenly things are coming into focus from the nourishing lifeline rays of the sun. It's like there's some kind of purification going on. You know, you've been walking in the obscure path of the moon, and all of a sudden the sun rises. The sun portends success, abundance, and joy. That your unconscious inner self is in balance with your conscious foreself. As usual, there's rocky roads ahead, but you're optimistic and emotionally prepared for what comes your way now. You've overcome your shadow self. And the illumination of the sun is a spiritual enlightenment. And that's what you were seeking down in the pelvic and sacrum area with the Hierophant. A spiritual enlightenment. A light that draws you towards it. You know, the word illumination in Latin actually means spiritual enlightenment. But to acquire the happiness of the sun, you need to have simplicity. It just boils down to honesty and sincerity. Unpretentiousness. That brings an indescribable wholeness of being. All of a sudden now you're just feeling the joy of living and the delight of being alive. Now the center cards for the heart of the matter. Receive the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. And there's a lot of water and emotion energy going on here because you've got the Queen of Cups next to the Hierophant. So you've got 3 out of 4 court cards from Cups. This reading has to do with your emotional well-being and it moving forward to more deeper bonds, more deeper emotional bonds. The Knight is offering the cup of opportunity. which is filled with emotions and love. And the King of Cups is the apex of emotional control. And he's also one that assists in ameliorating a broken heart or a hurt heart. And he's connected to the Ten of Swords from the past. He's there to say, yeah, it's okay. Let's just move on. We can love again. And down on the bottom right for the communicating and teaching, you receive Temperance. This is just a reminder from the King of Cups up there to temper and control your emotions. But Temperance is one of the major arcana cards that can breach the conscious to the unconscious side. And it appears now that they're meshing. And you're going into balance. And the clarification card is the Chariot. He's reminding you too of having discipline and self-control. He's working off temperance. They're both about tempering and moderating your behavior, your emotions. And this is reinforced above for the third eye for seeing and envisioning. You received another major arcana card, the Strength. Yeah, it's saying to temper the beast inside you and identify the beast inside other people that surround you. It's saying to have the strength to overcome your obstacles and divine courage to overcome fear, to find patience. And once you overcome fear, you acquire confidence. And the clarification card is the Nine of Cups. It's the Wish card. This card keeps showing up over and over again in these May readings. And I keep saying, curiosity killed the cat. And everybody forgets the second line. Satisfaction brought him back. And the Nine of Cups is about satisfaction and contentment in your life. Now up above, for the crown of knowing and understanding, you receive the Queen of Cups again. So this is connected to the Hierophant and Queen of Cups down in your spiritual awakening. She's connecting again to the Hierophant for seeking the truth, finding love, knowing what agape is, knowing that you're searching for brotherly love as well as intense carnal love. But once again, there's a few storm clouds over the kingdom because the clarification card is the Three of Swords. The Heartbreak card, the one that checks you into Heartbreak Hotel. You've had some ups and downs. And usually this card indicates that there's been some kind of severed ties. Or something that happened that broke your heart. Sometimes they say it's a triangle of lovers. 3 involved. Maybe somebody's married and somebody's not. This could even be some wounds from some painful rejection. But whatever happened is now bumping you into a new reality. Because I pulled another clarification card for the Queen of Cups and the Three of Swords and you received the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, Pentacles means Capricorn. You're now given a new beginning. It's really up to you to accept this one pentacle with the promise of more. But you have to do the hard work for this to become a reality. Now, we've already discussed the past cards, so let's jump over to the future cards because the main future card, once again, is the Ace of Pentacles, just in case you missed the message. Up above with the Queen and the Three of Swords, there's the Ace of Pentacles again. Yes, the Ace of Pentacles is extending possible gifts of value and fates of fortune for wealth. But it's not only probably wealth, but it's health and your emotional well-being. It's giving you a real-time potential for success with money and in business matters, and maybe eclipsing some financial struggles that you've had in the past. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it's time for you to get started and roll up your sleeves and get to work on your new beginnings. Now the clarification card is the Ten of Wands. It's indicating that there's going to be a lot of work and responsibility starting anew. Because you're in this death transformation, and I know this Ten of Wands is connected to the Ten of Swords from the past, but I certainly would rather have the Ten of Wands than the Ten of Swords. You can eventually lighten your load, but right now you have to take advantage of these two Ace of Pentacles, because the Wheel of Fortune is going to close the window. And then he's connected to the Sun card for enlightenment, celestial, spiritual enlightenment. Now the Queen of Pentacles is bringing knowledge and understanding of practical matters. She's a pragmatist. She feels like planning and setting goals will organize her life for future security. You know, she believes in rolling up her sleeves and doing hard work to acquire the goals that she achieves. And at the same time, she's teaching you to be reliable and emotionally mature. You know, the overall theme of this is that she's teaching you earthly reality and get a firm grip on reality. She's the grounding earthly force of having your feet planted directly on the ground. And then contrary to that, you have the Hanged Man, where he's hanging upside down, seeking enlightenment. And in the old legend, it's Odin, the god of war and poetry, seeking the mystic wisdom of the runes and secret magic letters. In the actual legend, it says that he died and came back to life. And basically, he sacrificed himself for this wisdom. So with this card, it actually does say there is some type of sacrifice involved in acquiring the wisdom that you seek. But it's not only wisdom that you seek, it's a rebirth, a spiritual rebirth. His lessons is to stop controlling the physical world around you. Quit trying to put a square peg in a round hole and let things go with the more natural flow. And once you acquire some of this wisdom, then you're going to start seeing things in a different light. And it is time to relinquish the old ideas and beliefs, because the new are avidly seeking their place. Whatever happens with this Hanged Man, you're required to go into a reflective, meditative state before you make any decisions, before you change your life. Make sure you know where you're at, and take the advice of the Queen of Pentacles and have a grip on your reality. Now the Sun card is a celestial purging. Now you're going for enlightenment. Illumination in Latin actually means enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment. A new day is dawning, and it's saying that you learned your lessons down at the Hangman, because now you do have understanding and even some personal fulfillment. Things are now in focus. You know, there's a miasma that dissipated, and you can see things with more clarity than you ever have before. This card portends success, abundance, joy. But there's one thing you have to do to acquire this abundance and joy, is to live a simple life. Freedom from complexities. Honesty, sincerity. Bring a wholeness and unity into your soul that you will acquire. With what you've learned from the earthly with the Queen of Pentacles, and to the wisdom that you acquired from the Hanged Man, is all put together into a spiritual new you, an awakening. At noontime, for 1 minute, the sun hangs in the sky where it casts no shadows, and there's no darkness. And it reminds you of the joy of being alive, the joy of living. So you've hit a superlative somewhere with these cards. Now I rolled the dice, and you received Aquarius, the South Node, and the 7th house. The north and south nodes are mathematical points that takes into account the relationships between the sun, moon, and the earth. The south nodes are gifts from your karmic past, accumulated spiritual life lessons, and is a place where you will pass no more. All eclipses occur near the lunar nodes where the moon's path crosses the sun's path in the sky. Now with Aquarius in the 7th house of partnerships, it's saying here that you want love from a distance, which means autonomy, but together. Now how does that work? With the Queen of Pentacles overseeing practical matters, this might sound like a great idea of having a relationship with no fuss and no muss. Yeah, I'll see ya, And this might be good in theory, but it's going to be really bad in practice. Because this is an imperfect world. And this might even mean that you're taking a domineering road and pushing somebody away. Even though you love them, you just want your space. You're spoiling the whole party. Because you've been feeling like there's been a yoke restricting you. And if you want a breath of fresh air and some freedom, we can all do what we want. But you really do have to make some considerations for the other person in your life. And if you've been doing this, it's going to be throwing you into the hanged man reflective mode. You have to acquire some wisdom and some reality that the Queen of Pentacles is offering you. If you think that your significant other is just a friend, I think you're going to have a few problems here. You have to lighten up a little bit on some demands, and then the sun will shine on your relationship. But you have to keep everything real and keep reminding yourself that you have to be a team player. You can convince yourself that head over heart always works, and you can hide your feelings under some stolid shroud of contempt, but that's not going to work this time. The South Node can be somewhat negative, and hopefully you've earned in the past and learned so that you can depend on this knowledge to go forward with the present and future. Whatever comes back to you from the past is unresolved issues that are going to rear their ugly head. And you have to be prepared for these challenges. Karma is going to repeat actions, and it's going to feel like a déjà vu, or the old joke, déjà vu again. You're going to have this persistent feeling that you've lived through this or seen this before. And it's a real haunting feeling. So hopefully this time around your performance won't be some type of showstopper. And you can put some of these issues to bed if you can resolve them. And scary as it may sound, you might be experiencing real flashbacks. And if all this is true, the Queen of Pentacles is going to help you batten down the hatches and remind you not to lose touch with reality. And the Hangman is there to bring forth the wisdom that you've squirreled away for a rainy day. When the storm does blow over, the fog will lift and the sun will begin to shine on your newfound knowledge. As much as you hate to admit it, you're still on planet Earth, and you have to commiserate with other people to keep your relationships going. And the Hangman wants you to reflect on this so you can reinvent yourself, so you can be rewarded with the sun and maybe have a glimmer of the purpose of your life.